Hello and welcome to another powerful Genuine Healing Group SFT tapping event. Today's event is Purging the World of Radicalized Conservatism. Make no mistake, we are dealing with a very heady topic. We are dealing with the religious right and various other conservative coalitions. This is going to be an important event for all of humanity. I'm Marvin Schneider.
And I'm Jen Ward. Make no mistake, we are dissipating these energies that have been weaponized against the upliftment of humanity. That's what we're doing right now.
There's a lot that we can say about this topic, and I should say that for the American audience, which I think is going to be the majority of the audience, there will be a large proportion of the American audience that will absolutely spew at what we're doing here today, but we don't care. We're sick of the pervasive invasion of radicalized conservatism impacting the mainstream and the empowerment of 8 billion people on the planet. There's no place for it, and the encroachment of extreme, radical, conservative, fascist sentiment in civil society and politics has basically got us to the point where society is no longer civil, and our intention is to turn that around, and we're starting that work here today.
Absolutely, we've been making it more pliable for consciousness to be able to receive the work we're going to do now, but the increments of release and stagnant energy is just amped up today. So people all over the world will be experiencing this work, even though they don't know where it's coming from.
There's a whole legacy of group tapping that we've done well for many years, but in a more intense way over the last 6 to 9 months. And there is some method to the madness. So about 9 to 12 months ago, we were doing tapping at the more generic level for the upliftment of all of humanity. So dealing with autocrats, dictators, power mongers, partisanship, extremism. Jump onto the Genuine Healing YouTube channel, jump onto the Genuine Healing website. There's a whole back catalogue of group SFT tapping events. So about 9 months ago, we were operating at the more general level. Then about a couple of weeks ago, we started to specifically target in on particular autocrats, dictators, power mongers, assholes. So we dealt with wannabe dictator Trump. We dealt with Putin. We dealt with Xi Jinping in China. We dealt with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. There are a number of others that we can deal with and we will deal with. But the practical reality is that that is simply clearing the deck. It's creating the foundation for the work that we're doing here today. And that then creates the foundation for the next layer of work and the next layer of work and the next layer of work. So this is building to a crescendo, Jen.
Yes, so anyone who is a seer can perceive an energy beyond time and space. So so the energy work we're doing today is actually addressing issues that John, who wrote the book of Revelations, was addressing. He was a seer who was seeing this time right now in history. And he was like using allegories to represent what was going on. What I have done is like tapped into his psyche to do these taps to dissipate the things that he was addressing in the book of Revelations. Just one small thing.
Yes, and you'll get to see that through the event. There is a segment of the audience that will watch this and just watch the compressed version, the in under 10 minutes version. And that's a good starting point, but I really do encourage people to watch the full event and participate in the full event, add your synergy to it. All right, let's refocus on the topic of the day because it is a serious topic. We are releasing and dealing in energy the perversion of radicalized conservatism. And this isn't a political history lesson, but there is an increasing and ugly um, expression of conservative rhetoric that has become so ugly, so polarized. It is so against anything that might have been contemplated in any um, centralist form of, let's just start with religion. It is such a perversion that it represents a clear and present danger to the upliftment of 8 billion people on the planet. And that's why we need to address it. And I'm sorry for all of those conservative religious right in America. Deal with it. You're on the wrong side of history here. I'm sorry to say.
So in energy, what happens is when someone spews like lies or, opposite of truths or whatever, and they're trying to inflict that as a truth, what it does is it has a byproduct of energy. And you know how like dew collects into little droplets? What happens in the psychic realms is this energy collects into something similar to jet streams in the air or the water. And these jet streams are like very strong currents that if you like get pulled into, you can get like just pulled along by these jet streams. So when I'm talking about psychic streams of energy, that's what I'm talking about is this negative energy that's been spewed out and collected into these powerful currents that people get trapped in and they can't get out of. So tons of people on earth are trapped in these psychic streams of energy, like jet streams, and we're removing them, we're freeing them from them, so they can get a break and think for themselves finally.
So the other thing that's really messed up and perverted is that there is a faction of people around the world, and North America is probably the center of a chunk of it, unfortunately, that are glomming onto conservative values to push a particular political agenda. And so the encroachment of conservative values that has become radicalized and extreme and the coalescence of that into the political system is really problematic. There is no room within the political system, um, and at least a political system that seeks to benefit we, the people, that, in which man made God and the perversion of God in this radicalized extremism in the center of the governing system. There's no place for it.
Yes, and there's people who are very savvy, like manipulators, are very savvy at understanding the human psyche, and they know how to trigger humans into fear and to like almost like hone them into a weapon and send them out to attack each other as a form of using them to advance their own message. That's what we're addressing in energy as well, because in energy I can see it. When I see someone on social media, television media, whatever, I can see where they're at energetically. I can see whether they're lying, whether they're manipulating, and other people can't always see that. They can't tell the truth from a lie. But in energy, it's very, very easy to see. So when we strip this illusion, energetic illusion off of people, the average individual will be more able to discern a lie from the truth.
Yeah, and the disappointing thing is that the average Joe Schmo who has, genuine conservative values and, has the right intentions, then gets caught up into the radicalization of that, which Jen, I'm pretty sure is what you were just saying, so that there are those individuals out there that are very skilled in weaponizing a certain demographic, and then that just adds fuel and creates partisanship, extremism. It's ugly, ugly energy. And my guess is that those that have genuine conservative values that are not radicalized at some point will look and shake their head and say that I don't recognize what I've been a part of because they've just been duped into jet stream of this radicalized bile